Welcome once again to the Schmidt Show. I am your host, Brad Schmidt, as you just heard the smooth voice guy tell you. And right now on the line, we just finished talking with Bill Mockaby from the Salvation Army. Now we've got attorney, easy for me to say, Attorney General Tim Griffin.
Call me Tim. It's much easier.
So, Mr. Griffin, how are we doing today? We got a lot going on in the state of Arkansas, don't we?
Yeah, well, we're doing a couple things today. In particular, we're continuing to try to help folks as much as we can, but we've also got one eye getting ready to be staring at meteorologists from the early evening into the night because
more weather coming our way.
We got to be careful.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a little west of us, but you never take this stuff for granted, and so people should have their KRN on, have their TV on. Those meteorologists are doing incredible stuff. They can tell down almost to the block, and that is saving lives. There's no question about it. But I know you've got limited time, and you want me to talk about something in particular.
Yeah, so the reason I wanted to talk to you, because these kind of things, sadly, these kind of tragedies always result in people wanting to take advantage of people and victimize them a second time. And there's a multitude of scams that will come through, roofing scams and all kinds of, tree removal, you name it. There's going to be businesses and nefarious individuals that are going to try and take advantage of this. So as the Attorney General, of course, that's your job to prosecute that when it does come up, and on some levels do what you can to prevent it. So maybe talk or start out just letting us know what kind of things as citizens can we do to make sure that we do not get victimized and don't get scammed.
Yeah, well, let me run through this real quickly. And communication is a critical part of this, making sure we talk to people before this stuff happens. It's a lot easier to avoid it than it is to fix it once it's happened.
Good point.
So first of all, looting. We haven't really seen much looting, at least it hasn't been reported to my office in a significant way. I was in Wynn yesterday, and they had a few instances there. But that's generally people taking your stuff because they can walk right in your destroyed house or what have you, right onto your property. So get your valuables to the extent you can, important documents, jewelry, stuff. Get it out of there to the extent you can if you can't lock your place up. Also, a lot of these really hard-hit areas, whether you're talking about over off of Shackleford and Walnut Valley, that area, some in North Little Rock and elsewhere, you will see law enforcement and you will see National Guard controlling access, checking to see who's coming and going. That helps with that problem. And also, just be a good neighbor. If you see somebody around someone else's property that doesn't look right, late in the night, whatever, let somebody know. That hasn't been a huge problem, but that can be a problem.
Good.
Second thing is scammers. What the scammers are doing is they are texting, they are emailing, they are calling people who they know live on a particular street or have some sort of tree in their yard or whatever into the house. And they're saying, hey, if you give us a deposit, we'll come out and do this or that. Don't do that. A lot of times they're not going to show up. You also have people who are saying, hey, we'll move this for free. Once they move it, they go, well, it took more time than we thought. You pay us this, pay us that. Just the smart thing to do, and look, people got a lot of pressures on them. I understand that. But try, if at all possible, deal with your professionals. Deal with your insurance company. If you don't have insurance, if you're underinsured, deal with FEMA. Deal with legitimate organizations. Legitimate companies. And if you have any questions on that, if you think someone's trying to scam you, call my office, 501-682-2007. Go to arkansasag.gov, file a complaint. Even if it's potential, we can look into it. Here's what we've seen with the scammers. And we've just had some people been reported to me, and we've been able to look at some of those situations to see what was going on, discourage it, try to catch these people. And then thirdly is the issue of price gouging. Price gouging is a very specific thing. Normally the market decides the price of goods and services. When there is a declared emergency, we don't want people taking advantage of others because of their increased need, because of the tragedy. So the law is, now that we're in an emergency, a business cannot raise their price over 10% unless that increase in price is truly reflective of an increase in cost.
Okay.
Double overtime you're paying people, whatever.
Right.
That's legit. But if you raise it over 10% for no reason except there's a tragedy and you see an opportunity and it's not costing you anymore, that's the type of thing that is price gouging.
Right.
And
now,
you can be fined $10,000.
Now, is that something, I mean, clearly that's a business thing, but is it also personal? Like, I mean, if somebody goes to Lowe's and buys a chainsaw for $150 and then puts it on Marketplace on Facebook or something like that for $500, is that also something?
Sure, that would be the same. That would be the same
Good.
sort of thing.
Good.
And we've taken calls and investigated, and in most of the cases, we've been able to either determine that it wasn't price gouging, or we've been able to call the individuals who are in the middle of this price gouging and give them a little education before they actually charged people. We had one person from out of state who was telling a lady that the AG's office had authorized him to charge 2 to 3 times the normal price because it was an emergency. And so that person knew who to reach out to in the governor's office, who reached out to me. I personally called the lady. My deputy AG for public protection called the lady. We got the information on the person. We got a copy of the invoice. We called the individual, and we let him know that he did not understand Arkansas law, and we needed to get him up to speed real fast so that he didn't get in big trouble.
Good to know.
And he was shocked to hear us on the phone, but he quickly learned what Arkansas law is and what it isn't, and that he shouldn't be representing that we've approved him to do anything when we had no idea who he was.
That's good to hear.
We have been able to do this in several instances. In another instance, a lady was being charged a significant amount of money to move a tree that had fallen into her home. I didn't know whether the price was consistent with the market or not, so I called a Little Rock tree service that I know and trust.
Right.
And I just said, hey, look, this person's charging this. Is that a fair price? He's from, I think this guy was from Texas or somewhere. And the individual that I know that has a tree service in Little Rock said, yes, that's actually a very reasonable price.
Good.
That's something like we would charge. And I communicated that back to the individual, and we were able to take care of that. Good. So we have those sorts of investigations going on. I got a call today from the mayor of North Little Rock, Mayor Hartwick, who told me that he had his office had called most, if not all, of the major hotels in North Little Rock to get their prices, and they had found that everybody was in compliance and was either charging the normal rate or less. And he wanted me to have that information. And so that was extremely helpful.
Good.
So this is most people are doing the right thing.
Right.
And but this is important, and you cannot still, just like with the scammers, you can call my office. You can go to our website, file a complaint. Again, arkansasag.gov and 501-682-2007. We have a toll-free number but at 54 years old, I forgot.
Well, I think most people are going to use Google anyway, and I think
I always use the 501 number is why.
And I think if people just Google the Arkansas Attorney General's office, they'll get the number pretty easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
anyway, so that's a general overview, and let me say this too: if you want to volunteer, if you want to give stuff, a good place to go to make sure that it goes to the right people, the right place, is the City Center, Emmanuel Baptist Church City Center. It's where the City of Little Rock, HUD, FEMA, Salvation Army, Southern Baptist Disaster Relief, which is the number 2 disaster relief organization in the country behind the Red Cross, all have a command center there. Take your stuff there. It's in the 300 block of Shackelford, right there by the church on the hill. It's part of Emmanuel, but it's the old Kroger. You can take that stuff there. Also, if you're in need, go to that same place. There's food that's hot that they're making all day long. I was there today. Salvation Army was giving out food. There was barbecue. There was all kinds of different things.
Good.
People were giving. Also, you can get bags of groceries. You can drive up. I was there today. They'll tell you, hey, we have this and that. Do you need cleaning supplies? Do you need toiletries? Do you need groceries?
Right.
Do you need paper towels, dog food, cat food, whatever? And they'll put it in your car, and you drive away.
Sounds good. Tim, I got to cut you off. I'm up against the break here.
God bless you. Call me if I can help.
I appreciate the time, and we'll chat again soon.
Thank you, man. Bye-bye.
That's Attorney General Tim Griffin. I'm Brad Schmidt. We'll continue in just a moment.